focus more on just making stuff.
On yourself, on your art, on your craft.
Yeah.
Rather than what people are going to think about.
Absolutely. There's always a bit of that self-doubt that comes with being an artist because I want to make music that explores queer themes. I want to make music that's gay.
Welcome to the Creators Shack. My name is Kashif Harrison, and with me, I take you on a journey and interview people who've turned their passion into profession. And if you are someone who is wanting to get into their creative journey as well and believe in what they can create, this episode is for you. So on today's episode, I've got Nick Pes, who's a singer, songwriter, and producer. Nick, welcome to the Creators Chat.
Thank you for having me.
Can I just say, I feel like we're kind of connecting, but also this is the first time we're actually meeting.
Yes.
And straight away, he's in the mic. He's on the second end, and we're interviewing him straight away. How does it feel?
It feels great. It feels great. I'm really happy to be here.
I am happy to have you here. Now, Nick, so you've been singing and, on this journey of creating music for how long now?
So long. I mean, more than 15 years.
Wow.
I would say.
Okay.
But music's always been a part of my life. I think back to when I was a kid and my sister and I, she's also a musician.
Okay.
We would be making up songs in the car, as mum was driving us somewhere. And then I would write songs for her to sing. So it's always been something I've been doing. It was never like a one point where it started. It's just been a continuous process, I guess.
So if I take you back to the time when you first turned your passion into a profession, or that little paycheck happened with your creative work, when was that?
To be honest, it's hard to remember the first time that there was a paycheck because it's something I've been doing for so long. But I can remember the first time that it felt really real.
Okay.
And I would say that was only a couple of years ago. That was Sydney World Pride.
Yeah.
I got asked to perform. Twice actually got asked to perform at Fair Day and also at the Oxford Street Party. Oxford Street Party. And that felt real. As I mentioned, I don't have a manager. I'm independent. I just kind of do this thing on my own. And when I got asked to perform, I thought to myself, well, this is real. Fair Day has sometimes 70,000 people there. So I knew it would be a huge audience and I wanted to put on a good show. So I really prepared and made sure I had a great look and all of that. And that was a moment where it really felt real and I did get paid.
Now, you mentioned that you are an independent artist.
Yes.
And I feel like I also fall into that category as well because I have a talent manager, but I think all of this stuff, I do it on my own. And I understand that journey. How hard it is to keep on going, and has there been a moment in that journey of yours where you felt like giving up?
Music's been pretty consistent, but along the same path of that for a long time, I was pursuing acting.
Okay.
And I had, I guess the world it felt like everything conspired against me around about this one period of a year where I was in a really bad relationship. I was dropped by my acting agent and I was really questioning what I was doing.
Yeah.
And whether it was bringing me any joy for the most part. Was I on the right track? If I wasn't going to do this, what was I going to do? And I remember after being dropped by the agent, I was in LA in this terrible relationship.
Yeah.
And an emotionally abusive relationship. Probably the lowest point in my life, I would say. And I had a bunch of songs that I was still working on. And I remember the relationship hadn't quite ended yet, but it was very close to ending. And I was just walking along the street in West Hollywood with my headphones in, listening to a demo of one of my songs. And the song was actually about an earlier relationship,
Okay.
but in some way, in that moment when I was listening to it, I related it to that relationship that I was in that moment. And it was like I was talking to myself.
That's beautiful.
So I heard this other voice say, you just have to let go. You just have to keep going. And I thought to myself, I've got something to say. I've got to work on these songs. And that was a bit of a turning point for me.
Wow. I mean, honestly, that's a beautiful story. And I'm sorry that you had to go through that to discover your true love, I would say, which is music.
Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes things happen to you or to us, and it takes you to a better, I think, I would say, what I'm trying to say is that sometimes bad things happen to people, but it takes them to the better things that they deserve in life. Do you believe in that?
Absolutely. I think so often it's about learning a lesson. And I don't want to blame anybody that's in a bad relationship, but sometimes you don't know how bad they can be until you're in one. And you learn, in this case, I learned to have a much higher standard for myself. And it's really informed not just my creative work, but my personal relationships. You know, I want to surround myself with great people, and I really feel like I hold the people around me to a high standard.
That's beautiful. And I think that's what creates, even in your work, you can sense that, you know? Now, let's say growing up, when you were kind of exploring the fact that you are a creative, you're different from the normal people. And I would say that because even I felt that you're a bit different. We are a bit different. But then growing up queer, did you have any inspirations, any aspirational people that you were looking up to?
Like other queer people that I looked up to? To be honest, the first time I felt like I had a queer person to look up to or a queer role model was my high school English teacher.
Okay. Talk us through.
So year 11, year 12 at school. And I mean, I'm not even sure how it was that I knew he was gay, but sometimes you just know. And he was so smart, and he really cared about us as a class, and he was funny, and he would share with us different TV shows that we should be watching, or movies we should be watching, or books we should be reading. And I do remember feeling, look, I think at that point I was maybe beyond the lowest lows that I felt as a young queer person, of those feelings of like, please don't let me be gay. I don't want to be gay. I can't be gay. I was sort of a little past that, but it's still tough as a young person being queer. But I remember seeing my English teacher and thinking, here is an adult gay man living a great life, and there's hope for me, I suppose, in a way. Like I could see that, but not really before that. I'd say that was the first time I felt like I had a bit of a gay role model.
And how old were you then?
I guess I was 16, 17.
Oh, wow. So if, let's say, you could go back to that 15-year-old or a 16, 17-year-old, what would you tell them?
I would say that your difference, your uniqueness is what makes you beautiful.
Yes.
And to embrace that. I don't know if that 15-year-old would have listened to me say that, but I wish that he knew that.
All right. Now, Nick, being queer and creative has its own struggles sometimes, right? People just kind of stereotype you sometimes. They want a certain queerness in you, and that queerness sells for some reason. Have you ever been, how is that? Well, what word am I looking for? Typecasted, or, if they want a music from you, they want some certain level of music or a taste of music. What would you say? Have you experienced anything like that?
Well, I think, coming out
Mm,
is an ongoing process, right?
for
It isn't
sure.
something that just happens
Yeah.
once and then you're out. You're continuously figuring out how much of this identity that I
Mm,
formed is really me and how much of it is a reaction to society, to bullying, to protecting that version of myself. And so I look back even at the music that I was making 5 years ago, and I think I was still trying to hide my queerness in my music.
mhm.
Uh, and it's really only been in the last few years that I have, I actually don't feel like anybody else has typecast me or put me in this
Okay.
box, but I am putting myself in this box where I want to make music for queer people. I
Mm,
want to make music that explores queer themes. I want to make music that's gay.
mm.
And because that is a huge part of who I am. And I think leaning into that has allowed me to make some stuff that feels really authentic and that I've had a really good response to.
That's beautiful, and I agree with that. I feel even I think post 2017 or earlier, I was pretty much not this gay. I think something happened after COVID. COVID changed a lot of things, and I was like, listen, I need to go chase my gay best life.
Yeah.
And now,
Yeah.
touch wood,
Yeah.
I have that,
Yeah.
or working towards it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nick, have you ever had any sort of an imposter syndrome where, you're like, maybe this is not me, or felt like giving up, or something like that? If you had any moment like that.
All the time, I
Mhm.
suppose.
Okay.
You kind of oscillate.
Yep.
Sometimes it's about a gig, doing a gig and thinking, I don't know if that went so well. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. Or working on a song and thinking, 1 minute thinking this is amazing and then thinking this is terrible. So I would say there's always a bit of that self-doubt that comes with being an artist because you're putting yourself out there in front of people. And I think it's important to have a healthy separation between what you create as an artist and yourself. But there's always going to be a little bit of it that feels like it's you.
Yeah.
And if somebody likes it, that's great. If they don't like it, well, then, that hurts a little bit. But yeah, I think that feeling comes and goes.
Mm. And funny that we live in a world of virality. We want that numbers, the views, which one's going millions.
Yes.
If you're still in thousands, is it really worth it? This is what talent managers or people think, which is really hard.
Yeah. Well, look, I have a bit of a different take
Mm.
on that these
Sure,
days.
sure.
Because, and certainly that, if we go back to what I was saying a moment ago about trying to hide my queerness, well, a big part of that I think was around being marketable, feeling like my stuff might sell better if I appear straight, if I don't alienate straight audiences. But I certainly don't feel that way anymore. But, a couple of years ago, I was interviewing somebody. I was interviewing Sydney-based musician and producer Joyride.
Oh, okay.
And we were talking about music and culture, and he shared this metaphor with me about culture as a bonfire. And we all contribute to the bonfire. We want to keep the bonfire burning. So there are some people who make massive contributions to the bonfire, right? Michelangelo makes a massive contribution. Taylor Swift makes a massive contribution, right? They're throwing on these big, huge logs that keep the fire, the culture burning for thousands of years, hundreds of years. And then here's me throwing on my few little twigs, right? They still keep the fire burning, right? They're still contributing to the culture. And that was kind of a light bulb moment for me when he explained it that way. And one of the things that I love about being able to share stuff online is that you can connect with people all over the world. And look, I don't have millions of listeners, but I have listeners all around the world. And, I can see when somebody adds one of my songs to one of their playlists. Sally adds one of my songs to her running playlist, and that just feels so amazing that one person connected with it. For one person, it meant something. And I love that idea that the art doesn't have to be for everybody. It can just be for one person. Maybe you make something, and instead of sharing it to everyone, you just play it to one person. I think that really changed for me the idea of what it means to be successful, and focus more on just making stuff.
On yourself, on your art, on your craft.
Yeah.
Than what people are going to think about.
Absolutely. And I actually describe it differently now. So when I talk about it, I say that it's my art practice.
Oh, wow.
And I just do it, I just set aside the time and I do it. And look, not everything I make is great, but when I make something that I'm really proud of, then I want to share it with people, and then I will share it.
Wow, that is so beautiful. I wanted to ask you, so on a daily basis, when you make music, what's your drive? What's your motivation? What drives you that, hey, listen, today is music day. I'm feeling this song. Adonis is coming to me hard, which we will talk about in a bit.
I really want the music to make you want to move.
Okay.
I mean, I love dance music. I love to dance. And so I want that music to make you tap your feet or swing your hips or whatever it is. I want it to make you move. So I think what I've been focusing on lately is really trying to find the groove first. That's kind of where I start, is let's find this groove that is going to make people want to move. And then it depends. I'm always writing down lyric ideas, jotting them down in my phone. And so when I sit down to write something, it's about finding the groove and then just seeing where it goes. I never have a clear idea of where I want to end up. And that to me is so beautiful. I love being able to just follow it, just see where it goes and what we end up with. And sometimes the best parts about a song are an accident, I accidentally turned the wrong plug-in on or something looped back and forth or, whatever it might be. There are these little accidents that then I go, oh, that's so cool. I'm keeping that in.
That's beautiful. Maybe accidents are art.
Yeah.
Accidents,
Yeah.
messy art.
Mm-hmm.
Oof, we're getting into that zone. All right, we're going to do a quick rapid fire with you.
Okay.
Before we let you go. And then we're going to talk about your songs, the latest song that's out. Okay. So I'm going to get my paper because, rapid fire. Okay. So this is your, get ready. This is the Creators Chat rapid fire. This or that, Nick Pes.
Okay.
George Michael or Ricky Martin?
George Michael, hands down.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, Ricky, but George does it for us. Madonna or Lady Gaga?
Oh, no.
Come on.
No. Don't make me. I gotta say Madonna.
Hey, Madonna.
I gotta say
Can
Madonna.
I just say,
love Gaga. And
have
I
you
feel
watched it live?
terrible for having said Madonna over Gaga. I love Gaga so much.
Have you watched Madonna live?
I have seen Madonna live, yes.
Wow, same here. And can I just say, she performs.
Yes, but so does Gaga.
Well, I've seen Madonna so far. I haven't seen Gaga yet.
Okay.
I will see Gaga later this year.
Okay.
Because she's coming to Australia.
You're going to love it.
But Madonna, man.
Yeah.
And I saw her, which was that Rebel Heart tour.
Yes.
She came 3 hours late, but the woman showed up and she performed.
Yes.
And I was so close. And this was like a $100 ticket that I got at the very last minute. We were so lucky that we were actually so close standing in the standing area. And then I actually smelled. I smelled Madonna sweating. And I love it. Totally. Yes. So there you go. Anyway, so Sabrina Carpenter or Dua Lipa?
Dua Lipa.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm kind of over Sabrina.
You know, what I love about Dua is that she's doing all this other stuff outside of the music. I love her book club, right? And she's getting young people, because she's got a young audience, right? A really young audience. And she's encouraging them to put down their phone and read a book.
Okay.
And I think that's amazing. I love that about her.
Love. And now this is the last question. And I think this might just keep you in very, very tough position. Adonis or Daddy? Which are both, by the way, his singles, which he has written, produced, sang.
Look, I'm really proud of both of them. But I think Adonis is the most recent one, so I got to say Adonis.
And now, speaking of Adonis, how did it came to you that this is the show? This is what I want to sing about. And I think your pictures, your post about Adonis seems to be, there's a lot of testosterone going on, which you love. But talk us through how it came to your mind.
Well, there's a few parts to it. I definitely wanted to make a gay song, another gay song, following on from Daddy. And, you know, I was thinking about that experience when you see someone you find really attractive, and the feelings that you have. And in particular, there's sort of this image, the idea of Adonis is kind of seeing somebody who looks like a statue, you know, the strobe lights flickering, and in those moments they look still, you know, how that weird effect that happens with the strobe light. And then with all the imagery, and I sort of wanted to mess around with this, the representation of masculinity throughout the ages, I suppose, and just kind of poke fun at it a little bit and say it's all a little bit gay, you know, like Michelangelo's paintings,
statues,
you know, the wrestlers and the bodybuilders, which can appear to be this like hyper masculine, super testosterone filled, very kind of straight thing, but that it's super gay at the same time. So that was kind of the idea of that.
Perfect. Now, if people want to follow you and your journey and all those songs that you write in future, what is the best place to follow you?
I post most regularly on Instagram. So Instagram, and I share everything on SoundCloud as well. So those are two places where probably the best place to go. But you can just search for Nick Pes and find me on all the other platforms.
And if you had to give one little message to someone who is making those songs up, right? But he's like, I don't think they're good enough. What would you tell them? That's the camera.
Okay. You don't have to put the first thing that you make online for everyone, for every critic to give you their 2 cents about. Just share it with someone who you care about. That's what I would say.
Hey, there we go. Thank you so much, Nick Pes, for coming on to the Creators Chat. I loved having you. I think the conversation that you've had, I think it comes from a place of very honesty and truth, and there's a lot of soul into it. And I was like, yeah, you seem like a very true, honest guy who's actually really devoted to his art, and I love that.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
so much for coming here.
Thanks for having me. It's been lovely.
There you go. That was Nick on the Creators Chat. If you did like this episode, don't forget to like and share this video. Follow us so we can bring you more amazing interviews like this. For now, this is Kashif Harrison signing off from the Creators Chat. That was so good, Nick, bro.
Is you nervous, eh?
No, I'm not too nervous. I'm just good for now. Thank you. I appreciate the offer.
Can we... Sorry, I'm just very producer-esque. Can you just pull your tank tops just a little bit down? Yeah, there you go. Started. Yep.
Can you see the pants?
On this shot, we can.
Okay.
But your pants look fine. That looks good. So this cam gets shoot from about here.
If you love this episode, make sure that you drop in a comment. What was your favorite moment of this episode? What was the takeaway that you took home and you are going to work on? Because your feedback matters to us most. Don't forget to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcast from.